Sensational Saturday. Once again, welcome to another exciting edition of the D Word. This is Furley Almonte with my fabulous co-host, Carolina Denhard. And today, my goodness, we're going to delve upon a really relevant topic right now that's been basically riddling a lot of like American people who are going through many life transitions. I was watching and reading the tabloids about even royalty, right? Prince Harry. Who would have thought that he went into some substance abuse himself because of the death of his beautiful mother, Princess Diana. And so, but you don't have to be royalty. But for many of us, whatever walk of life you're going through, my goodness, whether it be a breakup, it was a loved one, bankruptcy, whatever it may be, many turn to drugs, to alcohol, to different types of addiction to be able to ease the pain. And today, that is going to be our topic. But before we welcome our fabulous special guest expert, Beth Balaban, I would like to, Carolina, to please say a few words first. Hello.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I have my go-to t-shirt for shows like this, and it says, I have more issues than Vogue. And the reason I wear this t-shirt proudly is because everybody has issues. All of us at one point in our lives or another go through something that is so hurtful to us, that really pushes us to the brink of who we are. And whether you ultimately turn to a crutch such as alcohol or drugs, you're still turning to something. You're either engaging in a bad habit or engaging in behavior that is hurtful to you because you don't know how to deal with an issue. And that issue sometimes becomes paralyzing. It prohibits you from moving forward. And as a divorce attorney and founder of the Divorce Dynasty platform, I take so seriously that moment in time when my clients come to me and say, I am broken. I am in crisis. I don't know what to do. And while some issues are worked out with just the support of the platform or through counsel or through family, other times, Beth Balaban and her expertise and her company and people like her have to step in. So today is a wonderful show. Beth, congratulations, first of all, on your incredible new position. You are
Thank
now
you.
with a national company.
Woo!
Mountainside in our area was sad to lose you, but you are doing great things. Welcome, and tell us about your new position and what your organization is all about.
So, first off, thank you so much for inviting me out to the show. You guys are so amazing, and what you do for the community. So, my name is Beth Balaban, and I am a treatment advocate at Recovery Centers of America. A wonderful man named Brian O'Neill was touched by substance use disorder in his personal life and learned the gift of intervention. And he decided that in experiencing the substance use disorder field for the first time, that it was really hard. It's really expensive. There weren't good outcomes. There was a lot of stuff that was stacked against people getting on with their lives. And so he made it a mission to get 1 million people into substance use disorder treatment and long-term sustainable recovery. And what that means is he has dedicated all of his resources and his entire being to helping people start to live the life they choose to live instead of a life that they feel forced to live. And in that endeavor has opened up multiple facilities across the country, and in the process of opening more, to help people get and stay sober in their own community. And so that's what we do. We have detox, residential, outpatient, MAT, partial level of care, basically every level of care. We even have an outpatient services, which is like the very lowest level of care, which is once a week, to help. And we have an alumni association. Wow, I could go on and on and on about all the things that we've done. But the goal, right? So our goal is to help people get into recovery, whatever that looks like for them, and start to live a life of inspiration and feel joy every single day at some point in their day, throughout their life. So they start making choices that create a life that they love to live.
One of the things that, Beth, that we see happening when people are surprised by divorce or surprised by infidelity. In other words, you're rolling along and all of a sudden something happens to you and you're not the one that's pulling the trigger. And I see clients saying, well, I'll have a little glass of wine or two just to take the edge off. It relaxes me. My mind calms a little bit. I'm able to fall asleep. And then it turns into 3 and 4. What's that fine line that you see? And is it then, does it disappear when the event is gone? What's the correlation? Because not everybody obviously belongs in a detox recovery program, right? But a lot of people question if they're spiraling in the wrong direction when life throws a curveball.
So we've definitely actually experienced a ton of this, and it's been a little heartbreaking through COVID. Marriages have fallen apart because people have been forced to maintain a level of contact with their spouse that they're not used to. And so if the marriage is already broken and they've been reaching outside of the marriage to get their needs met, whether it's emotional or physical or whatever it is, now they're forced to actually be in it. And the easiest way to get out of the moment is to use substances, whether it's alcohol, whether it's marijuana, whether it's, harder substances, heroin, Percocet. Like the opiate epidemic has flourished during COVID. It's been very heartbreaking to watch. For the line, as far as the line is concerned about moving from substance use misuse into substance use disorder, it varies by person. So the way that I define substance use disorder is it's not necessarily how much you use, it's that when you use, you can't stop. You are absolutely not able to control the amount you're going to consume once you start using. And there are some people that are genetically predisposed to this and, could happen at any time, or it's happened their whole life and they don't realize it. What we've experienced over the last 5 to 10 years is that there's also a lot of people that move into substance use disorder through an inability to grow through their moments. So enters a lot of mental health issues, and it's mental health. Is it still Mental Health Awareness Day, or is today the last day? I don't know.
I think we're literally on the brink. Yeah.
What's today's date? It's the 22nd. Yeah.
What you're saying is that for those people that are watching and for those people that are considering divorce or going through divorce, or certainly COVID is still impacting so many couples, if they're reaching for something to help them get through the pain, is it almost a good thing that that's happening because they're almost stepping out of their pain, out of their shell, and potentially that's their call for help?
Yes and no. So anybody that's starting to lean more on alcohol or other substances during any difficult time in their life, specifically within the family, what you're doing is you're really just hitting the pause button. And all of the things that you are not facing and dealing with in the moment, when you enter substances into your body, what you're really doing is almost breaking out of it, and it may feel, right? So you're getting relief from your current situation. But what you're really doing is stunting your growth. Anything that happens while you're using substances, it doesn't count towards your spiritual growth. It doesn't count towards furthering your life or cleaning out that emotional holdup inside of you. It's basically hitting the pause button. And so when you try to come off the substances, all of those emotions, all those mental health issues, all of the things that happened while you were using substances to get through comes flooding up, which is then pushes you back into the substances. And it becomes a catch-22 and becomes detrimental to your life because you can't move forward. You're just continuously stuck in the divorce. I know so many people that have their marriages are not where they want it to be, and so they lean on substances. And once you start leaning on substances, there's no chance of growing or fixing or mending or continuing to grow that relationship. So it really just starts to fester, gets worse and worse. And every time you come off the substances, you awaken to a worse situation.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, like I remember during the height of the pandemic, one of the first couple of episodes we've aired on the D Word was actually on domestic violence, and Carolina had touched upon its prevalence, actually, and the increase in prevalence of domestic violence during the pandemic. So this is actually a great topic. One of the things that I love about what you said, Beth, is about defining a life you are forced into and a life of choice. Now, that is really very powerful statement you made there. Now, people do not know. So oftentimes, do I see a doctor first? Do I see a psychotherapist first? And when do they see you? I mean, people are kind of like confused right now, whether they should see a medical doctor, a therapist, or somebody who's in recovery if they are ready to move forward. What are your thoughts on that?
There's multiple routes to recovery. So you can reach out to somebody like me. So what I do for a living is yes, I can help you get to where you need to go, but it's not necessarily a detox or a substance use disorder facility. I am in connection with thousands of therapists, psychiatrists, medical doctors, lawyers, the police department. These are all avenues that you have to go where you're comfortable and where you're going to tell the truth. And therein lies the issue. Most people with substance use disorder are reluctant to share their truth out of fear of stigma and judgment. So what I can say is I'm available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is what I live to do, is to help people save their own lives. So if you go to your medical doctor or a psychiatrist or a therapist, you can go to your local police department. The thing that is the most difficult to break through that first barrier is the willingness to be completely honest about what's going on. I've known so many people that will go to therapy for years and never tell the truth. You're just wasting your money and you're wasting your life.
Beth, I was just having this conversation with a colleague, and I basically said that our clients, no matter how difficult, have to be able to say what their truth is. If somebody feels abandoned or neglected or used or belittled by someone, that's not your issue. That's your reaction to what somebody else did, and you can control your reaction. So if your husband cheated on you, it's not that you cheated, it's that something happened to you and you can now control what you do next. And you can't live in that moment of taking all that on and shame and trying to figure out why they did it. You have to try to figure out now what you're going to do. And I see this all the time. They don't want to talk about it. They want to bury it. They'll have the glass of wine. They'll go out with their girlfriends. They'll start dating too soon because they want that adoration from a new person. And to your point, which is so beautifully coined, it's going to pause you from growth, right? And it's going to literally prevent you from moving on to the next chapter. So all of this I see every day. What do we tell these women that are literally stuck in this cycle of wearing all of this on their shoulders because of somebody else's horrible actions?
So the thing, and I deal with this every single day. I work with everybody from adolescents. So I work with parents to adults, to young adults, to people that are retired. And the first thing I tell them is stop. Just stop. I'm here. There's no judgment in any way, shape, or form. If you really want to shift to a different way of living, please breathe in the moment, take a breath, and tell me the truth. Why are you here? Tell me what you want. Then we'll figure out where you are, and we will together create a path for you to get there successfully.
I love that. Having people unmasked, right? Like, because oftentimes you wear this facade, to see, for people to see that you're all put together, but really, like, you feel very broken inside. And I love that you are almost like an orchestra director, and then you can refer them to the right, appropriate professionals that could support their needs. Now, with Recovery Centers of America, is that something that people have to pay out of pocket, or is this a nonprofit?
So Recovery Centers of America is a for-profit company, but it was based on and created for people who do have insurance. We do have Medicaid. We take Medicaid, but it's for the working human being. It's for the working American. So we take private insurance. We take some Medicaid. I'm not sure if they take Medicare or not, but I'll get back to you on that. But we do everything we can to wipe away any barrier for people finding freedom. So if there's a deductible issue, if there's a copay issue, we will work with them to find the path that they need. And if for whatever reason it's not going to work at Recovery Centers America, we are not just going to drop our patients. This is a human being that has finally come into the present moment and asked for help. We will do everything we can to get them where they need to be.
Oh, that's awesome. Caroline, I have a question
One
for
of
you.
the questions. Let me just, before I have one question before I lose my thought, especially in divorce cases where the triggering person could be the husband that cheated on you, right? The reason the marriage fell apart is because you found something out, but because of finances or because you work together or because of whatever the issue is, you still need to see the triggering person, the person that did this to you. Beth, how do people deal with that? Because you don't have the luxury to, oh, I'm going to get my own apartment today. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. How do you deal with seeing the person every day that led you to Beth Balaban?
I don't understand. So I'm still living in this situation. I'm seeking recovery, but I'm still living in a situation with an abuser or with somebody I choose not to be with because of COVID. And I 100%.
Right. And that's what's driving you, right?
Right. So here's the deal. You have to live by example. You have to find resources. You need to find two different kinds of resources, and they can be the same person. You need accountability to continue to travel the path you choose to travel, and you need support. So you need to be able to call somebody and say, this guy's such a jerk. I can't believe he just left the refrigerator open for the third time. Now everything's defrosted, blah, blah, blah. So you need, because it's a real thing. So you need two things. You need somebody to go, I totally hear you. That sucks. I feel bad. I'm so sorry. Go close the damn refrigerator door. Go do what you need to do to keep your life on track and allow him the space and grace to be who he is. This is incredibly difficult. And this is why we need support. We need to be able to have people in our lives. What I love about RCA is that we have an amazing and thriving alumni association. So you have people that have been down the same path you are. They have the same general goals as you do, and they are moving towards the same solution that you can connect with on a regular basis and say, this guy's a jerk, just left the refrigerator open. And you're going to have a lot of people that are going to come back at you going, we love you, go close the refrigerator door.
Caroline, I have a question.
I think in a lot of, go ahead.
Because this is kind of like related to, okay, somebody needs to go for recovery, right? And there's expenses involved in that. But at the same time, if somebody was seeing you for, representation for divorce, right? And now they need to go through this recovery process, and there's cost involved, and they are also afraid that that is going to be used against them. So first of all, who bears the cost of that? And number two, like what are your thoughts about them being afraid about it being used against them on a court case?
So here's the deal.
This is one of the reasons why
No, that was from Carolina.
Let me just chime in first.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Carolina. Oh, she froze. Okay, I guess your turn, Beth.
Oh, she's back. Carolina?
No, she's out. Okay, go ahead and talk, and while we're waiting for her to chime back in.
Right. So I can tell you from personal experience that the people that I've worked with over the last 20 something years is that the court system is going to be much more impressed with somebody that's attacking and addressing their issues than they would be if somebody gets called out onto the carpet going, you were drunk 3 times. The last 3 times you had the kids, you were drunk the entire time. And if you're in recovery, you're seeking recovery, you're doing things and if you're in treatment, whether it's anywhere from detox, residential, partial level of care, IOP, OP, support network, alumni association, you have documentation saying, I am bettering my life and I'm doing everything I can, which will tell the court that you're willing to face who you are and continue to grow.
Oh, that's really wonderful, because I like that, the proactive approach. And actually what I would say the right word to say about that is honesty.
Yes.
Honesty and integrity about, you use living in your truth repeatedly. And so you're here, you are, this is who I am at right now. I may not be at my best self right now, but I am doing my best to recover, right? That's what you're going to say. And so that is actually looked upon favorably in court cases. And then when Carolina comes back, and we're going to ask her, like, how do you arrange the cost of this recovery treatment? And anyway, so before we go any further, if there's somebody there right now who would love to speak with you and explore the different avenues that they can explore upon with recovery, what's the best website or telephone number to reach you, Beth?
Sure. So you can reach me directly at area code 862-432-6887. You can also call, and it's easy to remember, is 1-800-RECOVERY. And that will connect you straight into our mission center that will help get you connected to any level of care that you need.
Yeah. And what is typically the process when somebody calls? Like, walk us through a little bit of the process, that what you do.
Sure. So I will get a call from a referent saying, I have somebody that needs treatment. They give me the first name and the last initial and a phone number with the consent, obviously, of the patient. I call the patient and find out what's going on, make sure that they're physically okay, that they're mentally okay, and they're able to withstand the time it's going to take me to get them into detox or res where they need to be. And that can be as short as 2 hours from door to door. I find out what they're using. I find out what their situation is. I make sure that they're feeling okay, that they're in a safe environment. Then we run the insurance, find out what their responsibility is, and I send a car service to come and pick them up if they don't have transportation. And I've had cases. I just had a case about 2 months ago that we had a gentleman walk into a facility for a different level of care, too drunk to do the intake. We called RCA, and they had him in a facility, a safe detox, medically detox facility within an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite impressive. I know you're on a national level, right? But so those people that you have said that, like you provide transportation for them, these are all local, I would imagine. Or so you are like a network of, professionals, right? And
yes. So Recovery Centers of America has a facility in Raritan Bay and also in Mays Landing. And those are our 2 detox and residential programs. They also have other levels of care available. So we can have a car here in New Jersey, 2-hour, turnaround, be able to help people. We get calls all the time from parents, and you'd think that it was a young person, but a parent of a 50-year-old person saying, my son's living in his car out in my yard, and 2 hours later, I've got him into a safe environment where he can begin to heal. And I think it's important to say, too, that all of Recovery Centers of America facilities are trauma informed. And what that means is that so the percentage of people seeking recovery, the percentage of people that have experienced trauma in the past, whether it be childhood or through their substance use disorder, have experienced trauma. All of our staff, from our CEO, our clinical director, down to the janitor, and to our recovery specialists, are all trauma informed. We understand the true definition of consent and honor and integrity and respect of our patients.
Wow. Listening to you, I'm keeping flashbacks of scenes from A Star Is Born. Right?
Right.
Like, because that's like, okay, if you're trying to figure out what type of patients and clients like Beth is working with, one type of person would be somebody like the character of Bradley Cooper, right, in The Star Is Born, who really needs intervention.
Yes.
Who's like everybody in the family is really like basically all in getting him recovered. So as I was like, and it's very heartbreaking because oftentimes there's a lot of shame involved in it, and that's why being able to really just come out of that shell and be able to speak your truth. How would people begin to even do that? Like, what would you say? Give me 3 steps that could help people begin to find the courage to make that phone call to you to get help.
Pause. Stop right in your tracks, right in this very moment. Close your eyes and ask yourself, where do I want to be? And understand that we can get you there. There's no judgment, there's no stigma, there's complete understanding. So many of our staff are actually in recovery and have been there too. And I think that that is super, super important to take into consideration is that Recovery Centers of America is literally packed with people that have been through this themselves, that have hit their own bottom, that have said to themselves, I cannot do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore, but I have to. So we absolutely understand. And we also have interventionists on staff that will reach out and work with families who need to rally and support somebody who needs to get in recovery. It's often the person that's seeking recovery is often the last person to know how far gone they are. But if you're out there,
people who say, for example, resist or have no idea, do you actually go to people's homes with the help of the family members to be able to actually get the person, like, kind of like, how do you call it, hijacking? It's
get in the car.
Is there, I mean, I'm trying to find the right word for it. Like, what do you do when you go to people's homes? Like, listen, you gotta go. There's no other way because you're too distractive, not only to yourself but to your family members. What, like, is there a term that you use for that?
That's interventions.
So, okay.
Yeah, our interventionists are skillfully trained and experienced. I know that Rob Strauber is one. I think he might be our head interventionist. I'm not quite sure, but I know that he's wonderful. I've worked with him for years. They talk to the family. They set up, there's 2 different kinds of interventions that you can do. The person that needs treatment can know about it, that it's coming. It's next Tuesday at 3:00, show up, or there's the, come on over for a party, surprise intervention. And so what Rob does and what all of our interventionists do is they work with the families, they write letters, they talk about boundaries, they talk about what is the goal here, what's happened, what's going to be the best thing for your family member. And then our interventionists they come out to the house and they sit down and they will work with the family and the person that needs treatment to help them understand that this is what we want you to do. And these are the consequences if you don't do that. And it could be anything, right? It's totally on an individually based situation where, some people, if you say to some people, if you don't go to treatment, you're getting completely cut off, that person's going to be like, excellent. That's exactly what I want. I want all of you to just leave me alone and let me go do what I want. So that's not a good tactic to take with them. And there are other people, though sometimes the same people, who are like, if you don't go into treatment, this is, we're gonna smother you with so much love that you're going to be with one of us 24 hours a day so that you can't use, and that could throw somebody else off the cliff. Mm-hmm. So our interventionists are incredibly, oh my God, I love working with them. They're amazing. They know exactly the questions to ask the family, to ask the person who's seeking recovery, like, to get them to a place where it's becomes a safe environment.
Yeah, I was even thinking, like, Carolina is not here right now because, I'm sure she's having some technical
tech issues.
Because that's why I keep checking my phone, because she keeps saying, let me in. I said, but I only see a black screen. Sorry, Carolina. So anyway, maybe the signal. What was I going to say, because I'm also thinking, like, for those people in the brink of divorce, maybe they'll be able to work it out once they're able to complete the recovery process. On the average, how long is, like, a treatment program?
So
factor about.
Yeah. Sorry, somebody just pulled in front of my house. So the level of treatment, the length of stay really does depend on the individual. And I think that any reputable treatment center would say the same thing. So an alcohol detox. So there are 2 things that you absolutely must go into detox for, and that is alcohol and, oh, wow. The word just left me. The substance just left me.
Opioid?
benzos. So benzos and alcohol, you can actually go into grand mal seizures from detox and die. So it is a medical detox. For substances like cocaine, heroin, you will feel like you're going to die. And so it can be anywhere between 3 to 10 days of a detox level. We definitely recommend a residential level of care because it's really, residential is such a special time where for a lot of our patients, it's the first time that they've been in a safe environment where they can start to let those self-protections come down enough and sometimes start to hear themselves say things that they've never even knew themselves before. And it happens because we create a safe environment where there's no judgment, there's no stigma. There's plenty of people around you that are either going through it or have been through it. So that can be anywhere between 28 to 45 days. Partial level of care usually lasts, I think, in most cases, anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. And intensive outpatient can be upwards of 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
And then you're
when we see in the movies, right? Like there's like a group therapy kind of. So because you had mentioned you have some alumni who actually come in support. Are these volunteers or they're part of the staff now?
So the volunteers, our alumni association are volunteers, and what they do is they come in once a week. Obviously, things are a little shifted because of COVID, but they come in and they bring 12-step meetings or smart recovery meetings or refuge meetings. And these are all group accountability groups out in the community that are free to the community, and people can attend them. And they come and share their experience, strength, and hope on a level because they've been there and they're on the other side. And it's so nice to be able to meet people that can guide you because they've traveled the path. They've actually done this before and they're still doing it. And one of the tenets of most of the accountability communities out in the out here in the world, service to other people that are in the same situation is necessary to maintain their own recovery.
Yeah, and one last question. So with everything going hybrid, virtual, like, do you have any type of programs available to support those people who may not be able to have the luxury of getting to you?
So actually, yes, I'm fully educated on all the programs in the state of New Jersey, and the ones I don't know, I have coworkers that do. There are multiple virtual programs. So Recovery Centers of America actually offers both in-person and virtual for partial intensive outpatient and outpatient levels of care. Obviously, detox and residential needs to be inpatient, but every patient is tested for COVID on a rapid test when they come in. And as soon as, I think it's 24 hours or something like that, the next day, if they don't have COVID, then they're put into the residential program. So again, it makes it a 2021 safe environment medically.
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness, you've been a wealth of information. Like it's so inspiring for, people to find the light and hope as they go through breakup, divorce, death, or, whatever it may be in the family. You don't have to turn to all of these substances or alcohol. However, if you do, because it's just a little too hard to cope with it in the beginning, you know that there is a way, a really, awesome way, pathway actually to recovery and healing and empowerment. And like Beth has provided so many different levels of expertise that are available for you, whatever, if it's medical, if it's therapy, if it's going to be hand holding, group therapy, virtual, my goodness, everything is out there. They'll even give you a ride. All right, so
Yep.
that's awesome. Beth, I would like you to repeat the telephone number and also the website again. So for those of you, there's no judgment here. Can it be anonymous in the beginning, Beth?
Yes. I mean, you can give me your first name. As long as I have your first name, just so I'm not calling you, hey, you, we're good to go.
Oh my goodness, I love you. Like as I said, like, oh my goodness, we need to talk after this because there's other ways that I'd love for us to collaborate, because you certainly are a guiding light, a beacon of light to many people out there. Okay, your phone number again, website, and any last words.
Great. So my name is Beth Balaban. I can personally be reached 24 hours a day at area code 862-432 6887. If you're ready to come in, you're more than happy to call 1-800-RECOVERY. It's an easy name to remember, an easy phone number to remember. And if you just Google Recovery Centers of America, all of our websites will come up. And to leave you guys with something, if you're watching this and you either have something that you need to drop or you have a family member that's having some issues, please know that you're not alone. Know that we've got this, and we will do anything. We are willing to go to any lengths to help you seek the level of life that you want to live.
How inspiring. Thank you. Thank you so very much. You are such a beautiful soul. And I'm sure Carolina, was actually very, very happy to have you also on the show. Because when she was talking about you, she just bragging and beaming with so much pride that you actually changed so many people's life, not only those who are going through divorce, but people who are going through major life transitions that could actually lead you to make really bad choices. So, as you can very well see, we are here to support you. The Divorce Dynasty, Recovery Centers of America, the D Word, we're here to support you. Get to the life of your choice, not what you are forced into, right? Woo!
100%. Woo!
Right. All right. Thank you so very much again. Listen, it's time to live in your truth. If you need help, we're here for you. And you have to understand you are not alone, and your best life is yet ahead of you. Okay, on behalf of Carolina Denhard and the Divorce Dynasty, this is Furley Almonte, your host for the D Word. Until next Saturday, stay well and also live vibrantly. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks, Beth.
Thank you.